suffer is karma over there. Therefore, when these three gunas are abandoned, then a mukta karmi becomes a karma yogi. Therefore, karma yogi, we talk about it very simply, but it is not that simple to reach it. There are 4 steps here, just in my slide, but the steps are many. Steps are many. Even lives may require, generations may require, in order to reach the karma yogi. Now the question is, because we are left with the question about the modern world, question is, or dilemma is, what do we want? Karma with or without gunas? My possible answer is work with gunas, but with shaktic traits as much as possible. But what are the gunas? We have to know now the gunas, how to abandon them if possible. Now let us take a look at the gunas. I'm sorry I have to go a bit swiftly because my time is quite tight. Because karma yoga is really a very big scope. Gunas are 3, sattva, rajas, and tamas. Please excuse my spellings here because while I did it, I might have some spelling mistakes. Please excuse me. Now, attributes of gunas, I have to say. The Shakta guna, which I call the golden calf, comes from nirmalattat, that is transparency, simplicity. This is the nirmalattat. Nirmalata. This has also got some bad side because it also binds you. How are you bound? You are bound with your fame, with your name, with your opulence, everything. All the material objects are then fulfilled. You don't need anything more. This is a bondage. And then sukha sangena, that's the joy of fulfillment. And jnana yogyana, jnana sangena, that is the highest consciousness with transcendental knowledge. So Shakti guna also binds you. What about Rajas? Rajas comes from ragatmakam. What is ragatmakam? Rag is love, hatred, or envy. These are the ragas. I mean the state of your mind, which is very transitory. Now, when we have love, hatred, or envy, we find that we have some raga. And then Krishna Sangam. We have thirst for gains, enjoyment, and ownership. This is the Krishna Sangam. These 2 things, they grow from kama and anger. Kama means desire, anger means anger. Kamo esha, krodha esha, rajaguna samudbhavo, mahashano, mahapapna, vidyanamiha varinam. Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, kama and krodha, these are the 2 things, very, very prominent attributes which make up Rajas. And then tamas is again ajnanam, that is ignorance. Mohanam is wrong perception. Pramad is indecision or inadvertence, mistakes. These are all tamas. And alasya is idleness, and nidra is sleeping. These are the attributes of tamas. So we can understand how tamas will lead us to one kind of debris from which we cannot get ourselves out. Now, this is you may look at it as a very clumsy picture, but when I go one by one, I think it will not be that clumsy. The modern day pathway to be karma yogi. Now, I have just designed it in order to reflect the complexities of the modern mind of the modern generation, and also to get rid of them from the stages. So first stage is from left-hand side, crisis coping. This is the life which we are leading now in this world. We are always facing crisis. The pandemic is not the new crisis. Every day we are facing crisis. So every day we are coping those crises. in our mundane routine work. What are those crises? We face conflicts, we face disharmonies, we face all kinds of objections and distress. All these things are the crisis. We have to cope these things. So our work is the external manifestation comes to good, bad, and mixed work. This is the mundane world which we are passing now. Our predecessors have very talentedly said about this according to the Gita verses. But I wanted to explain it more lucidly in order to make our new generation aware how we have to get rid of all these things. Now, in this crisis coping stage, we have to abandon tamosh, at least tamosh. That is moho, alasya, in ignorance. All these things we have to, our society is really growing now with all those positive things, not the blindness, not the indulgence in bad works, etc. We are trying to escape from those things. So abandon tamosh and tend towards Vedic rites. Now here, Gita has specifically said about Vedic work and Shadharmacharan, which our Swamiji from Ramakrishna Mountain Mission, they explained it quite very well, and I have my frustration to them for their good explanation about the Shadharmacharan. So Vedic work is the Shadharmacharan. What is Shadharma? Shadharma is, I will explain it later on. Anyway, Shadharma is, in brief, this is according to one's own intrinsic values, own intrinsic capacity, own intrinsic knowledge and perception. He is personal, not migrated from anybody else, not borrowed from anybody else. It is his personal, only personal thing. And here, it is the preparatory stage where the Shadharmacharan is carried out. And then preparatory phase, Sattik, Rajas, and Tamas gun qualities, these gunas are there. But Shadharmacharan is being carried out. Here, the mixed good and sacrificial work is being done. No more bad work. Because in Shadharmacharan, we abandon Tamas and Rajas in particular, because it is a preparatory stage. We have to go to the Karma Yoga. And here, the preparatory stage is over. And then this person goes to Nishkam work. How can it become Nishkam? Nishkam means desireless work. How can we become Nishkam? How can we become desireless when we are in Tamosh, Rajas, and Sattik? It is almost impossible. But the Shadharmacharan, these change the human mind, intellect, and body in a way that they can understand some transcendental light comes in his heart, at the back of his mind. He doesn't know even how it is coming. Here it is the magic of the Adhyatmikata, spiritualism, that when one tries to get rid of Tamas and Rajas, then some light of transcendental knowledge starts peeping into the heart. That sadhana is required for the Shadharmacharis. This Shadharmacharan then can elevate the person to the Nishkam work, not over a day. Not over a day. Therefore, we have to take the take-off stage with the Sattik Guna only, Sattik Guna, just abandoning Tamas and Rajas. When one attains the stage of Nishkam work, then he conducts the good and sacrificial work, and then, as I said, some transcendental knowledge peeps into his heart, and he becomes enlightened. This enlightenment takes him to the out of the cycle of gunas, and he becomes free of gunas and work with knowledge, that is knowledge of Atman. He then tries to know Atman and muktasya karma, that is the karma done by a liberated person. That is the sustained stage where the karma yogi remains. Therefore, it is a long way and a very difficult way, of course. Difficult must be, because if a person wants a glass of water in the desert, it is very easy to give him a handful of sand, but this handful of sand will not quench his thirst. In order to quench his thirst, one glass of water will be required. Therefore, we have to bring a glass of water for us in order to be a karma yoga. So, in brief, from Sadharmacharan, we abandon the results and doership, and then we achieve transcendental knowledge and continue karma. This is the muktasya karma. So, when work is looked upon as yajna or sacrifice, a worker approaches Gita wisdom. In modern days, it is difficult. I have a long thing, I will shorten it by saying only that modernity, what is modernity? This is an external drive to progress. This negates the Shabhava and Shadharma. And knowing self is not necessary for the modernity. Desireless work is impossible because every work has to be technically, socially, financially, economically viable. If in order to make it viable from all these outlooks, then a thing should be should not be desireless. And out of 5 factors for Gita work, which is written in chapter 18, 4 more or less recognize modern work recognized, but 1, the Daiva is not recognized by modern. The perception of
Mr. Chakravorty, another 3 minutes we can give. Sorry.
Yes, I know. Therefore, I will leave all these slides to you.
Thank you.
And ultimately, and these 5 factors are given in Gita in chapter 18, and we find that these 5 factors are also there, but Daiva is not recognized by modern world. No, apparently, these are impossible for us, but what is the harm that we give a try? Now, what can be the motivation? The motivation is that we don't want moksha. Modern world doesn't want moksha. At least we like to make the world livable for the Brahman. We have to be Shakti. So passion steps to apply are control of mind, as many speakers before me have said, so I don't like to reiterate them, but there is one caution, that even the wisest person may have the blindness or may have the ego, and the wisdom may be shaded out if the will force is weak. Janinanapi chetangshi devi bhagavati hisha. In Chandi, we find Janinanapi chetangshi devi bhagavati hisha. Devi Bhagavati, that is Maya, takes away the consciousness of the wise persons. But modern society is trying to go ahead with globalized culture, with yoga practice, with peace as their slogan, and environmental imperatives. At national level, there are many steps for bringing about ethical standards in everything and reducing poverty. At society level, so my time is over. About 30 minutes is already gone, I know. So please give me a couple of minutes. Examples in modern society, the society level, many things are being improved. Chalo. Now, work is God's, but I am the doer. That is, Shaktik Guna should remain with me as long as I work. So what are particular overarching lacunae in modern world? Macro environment and micro environment are all almost inimical to be a karma yogi. And what need to be done? The things have already been listed out in my previous slide, and all the references of Srimad Bhagavad Gita shlokas are there. So, what we take away with? We continue desireless work as per Shabhava. We forgo ego or doership as it is Maya. We gradually attain Shaktik Gunas full of divine light, and we work even after we are truly Shaktik. The last word is action is demanded of man, not idle or sitting down. Action is demanded of man by the master of the world. So thank you all.